Hi everyone. I wanted to get on today to give you an example of what a myofascial self-treatment home program looks like. I know not all of you are familiar with myofascial release techniques, so I'm going to do 2 follow-along techniques that we'll do in real time today. You can do with me now. And these are for low back pain, for hip pain. You'd want to continue doing these techniques every single day for the next 14 days to get the benefit out of them. And then after that, do them about 3 times a week to maintain the positive improvements that you get. I also want to direct your attention to a freebie I have online too, and it's a third technique for people with low back pain. It's very helpful. It's the one technique I go to almost daily for myself. All right, so if you're ready, come along with me. I'm going to show you 2 techniques. So the first one is for our piriformis. It's for the area, the hollow in your cheek and your low back, in your hip. And all you need is a squishy ball, or if you have a tennis ball, you could use a dog's chew toy. You can use a larger squishy ball like this, and you're going to lie down on your back, knees are bent. Move slowly if you have back pain. I probably don't have to tell you that, but you want to move very slowly. You're going to lie down, you're going to roll onto your back, and you're going to take your ball, whichever you choose. You might find that a hard small ball works better, but you're going to have to kind of experiment a little. You lift your body up just a little bit, and you're going to lower slowly, and so that you're putting the pressure right in the hollow of the cheek. And you just kind of move very gently around until you find your tender spot, and that's a myofascial restriction. We'll talk about that in a minute. That's where you want to work. So we're going to be here 5 minutes. So you're looking for places that are tender or tight. When you're on there, relax. You might even put a folded towel on under the other cheek to help you from having to stay directly on your target. And you can let your leg out too. Now in that time, you should be able to really stay relaxed. If it's too painful for you where you found your spot, then what I would do is take out, if you're using something very hard, use a softer tool, softer ball. Get back in on that spot. You want to feel it to the point that, oh, it's not comfortable, it's painful. But if you're tensing because of the pain, or you're holding your breath because of the pain, that's too much, and you need to back out, or you get another softer tool underneath there. Sometimes people are so tender they have to start with a hand towel that's been knotted up and use that under your cheek. Make sure to use something else. Take a pillow or a folded towel, put it under the opposite cheek so that you can really relax. You're not doing any work in your back or your hips to help you stay up on that ball. So in this position, what you're feeling for is some softening and releasing. A myofascial technique is to help get the fascial component of our pain. So myo means muscle, fascia is the connective tissue in our body. You have this big cobweb that runs from the top of your head down to the bottom of your feet, side to side and front and back, and it's called fascia. This fascia surrounds and infuses everything in our body, including our muscles, ligaments, nerves, vascular supply, our organs, etc. And when we are injured, an injury can be repetitive use, overuse, falling off a bike onto some gravel. It can be stress, just being a human being alive on this planet. All of those things cause fascia to bind down like baling wire, curl under, and it can put up to 2,000 pounds of force per square inch in whatever's in its way. Well, our muscles and our nerves and arteries and all these other structures that the fascia lies within are pain sensitive. So when there's an injury and it's bound down, there's pain created, and then there's loss of mobility. So what we're doing is going to those myofascial restrictions so we can release them to help relieve the pain and also get the mobility back in that area, the motility and the elasticity. And when you're on a spot, the way fascia is treated is with mechanical energy. So right now we're using compression. We can also use elongation, that's mechanical energy. Twisting, those are mechanical energies. And when mechanical energy is placed in the body for a minimum of 5 minutes, it starts this bioelectric flow called the piezoelectric effect. And that electrical flow goes right through the fascia, and when it comes to that fascial restriction, it helps to rehydrate the tissue, elongate and soften the tissue, the fascia, so that pain starts being alleviated, your mobility or the flexibility comes back to the area. That 5 minutes is the most important thing, because you know in traditional therapy they stretch a muscle, and I was a traditional therapist before I became a myofascial release practitioner, but there's usually just maybe a 45-second stretch, so the muscles start getting released, but it doesn't do anything for the fascia, and so the fascia, because it's still tight, just pulls the muscle back into spasm. So we're feeling for softening, we're feeling for less pain, you might be on a spot and go, oh my gosh, I feel that going up into my back or up into my shoulder. Remember, the fascia is made from one piece of material, that fascia that runs up and down our body and side to side and front to back. It's made from one piece of material. So if you have it tight, let's pretend my sweater here is the fascia. If I've got a knot in my sweater or my fascia, you can see how it's going to put tension in the rest of the sweater. It's the same with the fascia in our body. So we've got about 2 minutes left, about 10 seconds left. So we're going to very slowly come out of this. Just bring my leg up. And move slowly. You probably just heard that clicks. You might feel some shifting and clicking after this. That just means you've got some opening going on. So I'm going to roll to my side, kind of like a log, come up slowly. For those of you who just finished being diagnosed with some low back pain, you always want to go slowly. Check with your docs to make sure this is okay to do, because you might have something that's contraindicated for this, like if you have a herniated disc, you would not want to do anything right now until that's taken care of. All right, so at the end of 5 minutes, what I do want to remind you is you can stay there 10 minutes if you want. You won't injure yourself. You'll just get more and more releases. It's a minimum of 5 minutes that we put on the clock when you're working on yourself. All right, so I said we're going to do 2 exercises. So the second one is you're going to use a very comfy, squishy ball. Do not use a tennis ball on this next one. It's to help the pelvic floor open up and release. So the ball you're going to sit on it literally, and you sit so that the ball is forward of your tailbone and not directly under your tailbone, and also right between your 2 sit bones. So here we go. We're going to start the clock. I'm going to put the ball right between my sit bones. I'm going to lower slowly. It's not back under my tailbone. It's a little forward. And I'm going to soften. I'm going to soften my breath. I'm going to soften my shoulders. I'm going to ease the thoughts up here, those things, that monkey mind that keeps going. I want to give you a quick little perspective on where this ball is. So I'm going to turn around. I'll be back with you in a minute. I just want you to see from behind. The ball is not back here. The ball is forward of the tailbone, and it's right between the 2 sit bones. So it's further forward than you would think. And your goal is to really soften over that. If it's too much, then you need to get a squishier thing and just let some of the air out. I'm going to turn around so I don't stop the mechanical energy. Once you've started the clock, you're in your position. I have to get back between my sit bones. Once you're in your position, If you need to stop for any reason and come back, the clock starts over, because it requires uninterrupted mechanical energy in that area that you're working on to actually start that bioelectric flow, that piezoelectric effect. All right, so here we are, and in this position, in any myofascial release position, you want to soften your body and soften your mind, and you want to be present to what you're feeling. So don't try to escape what you're feeling, stay with it. You've heard the term, you got to feel it to heal it. Well, there's actually some science to that. And in the position, as you're softening, you soften your breath. If it's becoming too painful for you, then do get something softer. You might have to take the air out of the ball a lot or a little, or you might just have to start with a rolled up cloth. It depends on how much pain that you have while you're doing that. If it's causing you to tense, like I was saying on the last technique, or if it's making you hold your breath, it's too much. And that's okay. Everybody starts somewhere. It doesn't mean you're a hopeless case, not at all. It just means we all have to start where our bodies can let us start. And so honor that so that it can heal. I'm going to give a little visualization technique with this particular technique of the pelvic floor myofascial release. And use this visualization technique anywhere, anytime you're doing your home program and self-treating. So you're going to close your eyes. I'm going to have you all close your eyes right now. And I want you to see inside your body and see where you feel pain. And some of you right now might be feeling radiating pain into your back or your hip or down into your knees. You might be feeling it going up your spine. Wherever you have uncomfortable sensation, that's where you visualize it. Now, look at that and see it in 3D. And what does it look like? What does that pain look like? It could look like baled up wire, a pile of dark tarry goo. It could look like a brick, pile of bricks. Whatever the presentation, see that softening. Got a little rain happening outside. It's great because we need the rain, so that's a really good thing. Whatever the presentation, see it softening and relaxing and releasing, and then see that pain moving out towards the surface of your skin, and then see an opening in the surface of the skin for that pain to exit, and then see as much as the pain that you can get out, then see that opening close behind the pain so it doesn't get back in, and then bring yourself back to feeling what's going on. What do you feel? So we've got about 4 seconds left. Got about 3 left. And so we're going to call this a close to this technique. However, you can continue if you wanted. You could stay there 10 minutes. If you were feeling like, oh, I feel softening, I felt my thing release, my headache went away, whatever the case, stay there as long as you like. You won't injure yourself, you'll just get more releases. All right, thank you very much for your time. I invite you to try these on your own time at home and when it works for you, and see the difference that these myofascial self-treatment techniques can make for you in your life. Thank you.